She called herself the Crocodile of Wall Street, a Forbes writer by day, cringe rapper by night, and secretly laundering billions in stolen Bitcoin with her husband. Why? By laundering $4.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, leading a double life and misleading followers. But that's not the point. The point is, Heather Morgan is a billionaire in jail. Maybe she's singing like this to her inmates. This wasn't just a crypto heist. It was a $4.3 billion circus involving rap videos, Walmart gift cards, and cloud storage slip-ups. Today, we dive into the wild, true story of Heather Morgan and Ilya Lichtenstein, the couple who tried to hustle like moguls but ended up as memes, mugshots, and a masterclass in digital delusion. This is the Bitcoin heist that broke the internet. Chapter 1. Hacking Bitfinex. In the year 2016, while the rest of us were binge-watching Stranger Things and pretending to understand blockchain, a digital heist of legendary proportions was quietly unfolding. Bitfinex, a major crypto exchange out of Hong Kong, got absolutely wrecked. A mysterious hacker, or hackers, managed to yoink 119,754 Bitcoin. That's roughly $70 million back then, or, as of 2022, a casual $4.3 billion. You know, just enough to buy a country, or at least a condo in San Francisco. The hackers didn't brute force their way in like amateurs. No. These folks exploited a vulnerability in Bitfinex's multi-signature wallet setup, a system designed to prevent this very thing. Irony's never been so expensive. Once the coins were in their hands, the real game began. The hackers didn't just cash out. Oh no, that'd be too easy and way too traceable. Instead, they laundered Bitcoin over years, shuffling it through a digital obstacle course of wallets, mixers, and shady corners of the internet. Think Ocean's 11, but everyone's wearing pajama pants and hasn't touched grass in weeks. Meanwhile, blockchain investigators, equal parts tech nerd and Sherlock Holmes, tracked every movement like obsessed exes. Every time a coin moved, 1,000 alerts went off. But the majority of the stolen treasure, it just sat there, untouched, waiting. Enter the twist nobody saw coming. The feds swoop in and smash that like button, just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, the FBI swoop in and arrest a seemingly average couple in New York City. Well, average might be generous. Meet Ilya Lichtenstein, the tech-savvy mastermind, and his wife, Heather Morgan, business influencer, TikTok philosopher, and rapper under the alias, wait for it, Khan, the Crocodile of Wall Street. Turns out, while laundering billions in stolen Bitcoin, Heather was also uploading surreal rap videos, talking about success, mindset, and being the Genghis Khan of copywriting. You can't make this up. Well, you could, but this is somehow real. Federal agents found private keys to over 94,000 Bitcoin in Ilya's cloud storage. Yes, cloud storage. Not exactly a Bond villain move, but hey, convenience matters. And just like that, a 6-year mystery unraveled into the wildest mashup of cybercrime, influencer cringe, and millennial delusion the internet had ever seen. Chapter 2. The Lady and the Mastermind. On the surface, they were just another quirky New York City couple trying to make it. She was a startup guru, TikTok philosopher, and Forbes contributor. He was a tech entrepreneur, the kind that says a lot of buzzwords but never quite explains what he actually does. Heather Morgan, self-described badass CEO, life coach for founders, and rap artist. She went by Khan, a name she claimed evoked Genghis Khan energy, if Genghis Khan had grown up in a Whole Foods. Her LinkedIn was a parade of vague accomplishments: growth hacker, sales strategist, economic theorist. But behind the hustle girl grind set and biz dev buzzwords was someone allegedly laundering billions in stolen Bitcoin. Meanwhile, her husband, Ilya Lichtenstein, was quieter. Less glam, more hoodie. Your classic tech guy. The type to use disruptive in casual conversation and believe Google Sheets can solve international conflict. He dabbled in startups and cybersecurity, ironically. Together, their public image was painfully normal, almost boring. But behind the influencer posts and awkward rap videos, they were allegedly orchestrating one of the largest money laundering operations in American history. How did this modern Bonnie and Clyde try to wash 119,754 Bitcoin? Glad you asked. They didn't exactly go full James Bond. No offshore bank vaults or encrypted satellites. No, their methods were remarkably stupid. It included shell companies with names like they were made in a startup name generator. They used gift cards. Yes, gift cards. They literally bought Walmart gift cards with stolen crypto. Nothing says high-level laundering like a cart full of paper towels and Hot Pockets. And where would we be without NFTs? Because why not hide your crime in a JPEG of a monkey in sunglasses? And of course, crypto mixers designed to obfuscate transactions, but often about as discreet as a neon sign saying, "Totally not a crime." They moved money like people who watched Breaking Bad once and said, "We can do that, but with more Excel spreadsheets." The contrast was absurd. On Monday, Heather was posting motivational content about manifesting success and owning your future. On Tuesday, she was helping move millions in stolen funds across a digital money maze, all while dressed like a tech conference magician. Ma'am, you're laundering billions under your government name. And Ilya? He stored the private keys to over $3 billion in a cloud storage folder. Because why encrypt when you can just upload the treasure map to Dropbox? In his private life, Ilya Lichtenstein wasn't the kind of villain you'd cast in a cyber thriller. More awkward tech guy than criminal mastermind. Known to friends as reserved and highly analytical, he spent most of his time behind a screen, deeply immersed in coding, crypto forums, and digital rabbit holes. He dabbled in startup ventures and described himself as a tech entrepreneur. Though few of his businesses gained traction, he was quiet, intensely private, and reportedly obsessed with operational security, the kind of person who'd use encrypted notes to write grocery lists. Around Heather, he seemed like the calm counterweight to her chaotic energy, often fading into the background as she pursued internet infamy. But beneath that reserved persona was someone playing the long game, quietly managing wallets, shuffling stolen Bitcoin, and building a digital paper trail that would one day lead the FBI straight to their door. This wasn't just a crime, it was performance art, a surreal mashup of Silicon Valley, TikTok, and the Wolf of Wall Street, but written by someone who thinks ROI means rapping on Instagram. They had the perfect cover, until it all came crashing down. Chapter 3. Cloud Storage and Cringe Bars. It was February 2022. A cold morning in New York, the kind of morning where dreams freeze and federal agents knock on your door. After years of blockchain breadcrumbs, cyber forensic gymnastics, and sheer digital patience, the FBI made their move. They arrested Ilya Lichtenstein and Heather Morgan, yes, that Heather Morgan, and seized access to over $3.6 billion in stolen Bitcoin. How? Because the man allegedly responsible for laundering the greatest crypto heist in U.S. history kept the private keys in a file labeled something like passwords LOL do not open.txt in his Google Drive. The cloud. The cloud, ladies and gentlemen. Not an offshore Cayman Island account, not a dead man's switch in a nuclear bunker. Just cloud storage. That's it. The modern equivalent of hiding your treasure in a sock drawer. Inside, agents found 94,000 Bitcoin spread across thousands of addresses like digital Easter eggs, each one a receipt from the 2016 Bitfinex hack. That same day, the charges dropped. Conspiracy to launder cryptocurrency, a federal crime with decades of prison time. And boom, the crypto world was on fire. But the real explosion came when the internet learned who Heather Morgan really was. Heather Morgan, a Forbes contributor, a serial entrepreneur, a motivational TikTok girl boss, was also Razokhan, the Crocodile of Wall Street. Her music videos resurfaced with terrifying speed. The gold lame jackets, the snake-themed branding, the freestyle verses that felt like performance art and a cry for help at the same time. Was she a genius troll, a deluded narcissist, an avant-garde crypto poet trapped in a startup coach's body, or all of the above? The memes came fast. It wasn't just a fall from grace. It was a nosedive from influencer heaven into a federal courtroom, while wearing leopard print. And while most alleged billion-dollar launderers remain mysterious shadows in the dark corners of the web, Heather went viral for rhyming crime with prime. Chapter 4. Trial and Tribulation. By 2023, the chaos had finally quieted. The stolen Bitcoin was no longer flying through mixers. The headlines had cooled. But deep in a federal courtroom, the final chapter of this bizarre saga began to unfold. Ilya Lichtenstein and Heather Morgan, the couple who allegedly helped launder over $4 billion in crypto while moonlighting as tech influencers and failed rap icons, stood before a judge and, finally, pleaded guilty. Yes, guilty. The same couple who once posted motivational TikToks about building your empire and breaking through limiting beliefs were now admitting to one of the largest crypto laundering schemes in U.S. history. Ilya, the silent partner, the hoodie-clad tech bro who once danced through the digital shadows, confessed to orchestrating the laundry of over 119,000 stolen Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Heather Morgan, better known to the internet as Razzlecon, the self-styled Crocodile of Wall Street, stood beside him, her leopard print power aura dimmed by fluorescent courtroom lighting, and told the court she deeply regretted her role. It was a surreal moment. A woman who once spit lines about bawling like a crypto queen was now navigating sentencing hearings, likely exchanging SoundCloud links for legal advice. She told the judge she wanted to leave her past behind, which is hard to do when your past is immortalized in rap videos, Forbes articles, and a federal indictment. Chapter 5. The Nail in the Coffin. After years of laundering, rapping, and creating the world's cringiest digital trail, justice finally slid into the group chat. Heather Morgan and Ilya Lichtenstein, once crypto's most chaotic couple, stood before the court for the final verdict. And let's just say, the vibes were less Shark Tank pitch and more Orange is the New Black Startup Edition. Ilya, the silent keyboard wizard who moved billions in stolen Bitcoin like it was Monopoly money, was handed 5 years in prison. Just 5. Why? Because he pulled the ultimate redemption arc, turned state's witness, spilled the digital tea, and helped recover a massive chunk of the stolen $4.3 billion. That's right. The guy who allegedly helped steal more Bitcoin than most countries have GDP got less time than someone caught insider trading in 2008. But hey, he did keep his receipts. In the cloud. Lesson learned, crime doesn't pay. Unless you also help the cops. If you thought a federal would phase the almighty Razzlecon, think again. At the start of the year, she released a music video on YouTube titled Razzlecon vs. the United States. And yes, she wears the ankle bracelet like a fashion accessory and brags about it. Well, she was bragging about it until the judge read the verdict. Heather, whose courtroom wardrobe toned down the snake print but couldn't quite erase the internet's memory of her rapping in front of the New York Stock Exchange, received 18 months behind bars. Not exactly life in Alcatraz, but just enough time to reflect. Maybe even write a new mixtape. Live from Cell Block C, Hustle and Indictment. The court showed mercy. They called her role lesser. The Fed said she was more accomplice than mastermind. Plus, she helped in the investigation. And let's be honest, they probably watched her rap videos and thought, she's suffered enough. So Ilya gets 5 years and Heather gets a year and a half. Both walk away with supervised release, public notoriety, and the permanent title of That Crypto Couple from that Netflix doc. But yes, a docuseries is already in the works. You knew that, right? Chapter 6. Crash and Burn. What began as a secret digital crime became a meme, a punchline, a legend told in group chats and comment sections around the world. For a generation raised on get-rich-quick schemes, hustle culture, and crypto FOMO, this wasn't just a scandal, it was a mirror. Heather and Ilya chased greatness. They wanted to be powerful, untouchable, unforgettable, and they got their wish, just not the way they expected. Instead of being remembered as innovators or moguls, they'll go down as the unlikely duo who combined enterprise software, cybercrime, and cringe rap into the most absurd true crime story of the decade. The motivational quotes Heather once posted now feel like eerie foreshadowing. Be fearless, build your empire, make your mark. She did, just not in the way any of us saw coming. In the end, they weren't just a cautionary tale about crypto. They were a warning about what happens when ambition loses its mind and finds a Wi-Fi connection. But what do you think? Was Heather Morgan a criminal mastermind or just a cringe rapper caught in the wrong heist?